online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey there, Ruby fans, dancing all the way from California to Texas. We have the Ruby After Show tonight. How are you all doing?
How can you be so happy?
Into the microphone.
Also, I just realized that all of us are wearing red in some
Dude,
form.
it's red and gold.
I
It is solidarity
We're red
colors
team
tonight.
I mean, I obviously did not get the red shirt memo, but at least I wore the red hat. So
Nailing it.
yeah.
Dude,
I think-
red and gold, solidarity.
I think in our hearts we were all mourning a certain something and just generally feeling like red was an appropriate color. But guys,
Because like red is blood and death and destruction.
It's red for murder.
probably, yeah. Well, and Pyrrha and Penny. And
I'm glad I'm not the only person who went there with that. I mean, no, red for murder.
Murder, murder, murder.
We have a lovely show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about dead things.
If you can't tell, we're feeling feelings. Anyway, tonight we are
is how we
talking we are talking about episode 9 PvP and episode 10 Battle of Beacon, and we're also going to be touching on the world of Remnant, the Four Maidens, because I mean it was kind of fillery, but it's good to touch on things like
there's
that.
an important implication in that we'll get to once
that
that's a
Osmond's the
fun
wizard.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Let
I mean,
me-
let's just bury the lead now.
Let me go ahead and introduce my fantastic panel. Mark Donica,
Howdy, I'm Mr. Mark B. Donica. You can follow me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica.
Katie Cullen,
Hi, all my buddies. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. We're also checking the hashtag RWBYABTV on Twitter, and we're looking at the live chat. So, comment, get in the conversation, all that fun stuff.
say the hashtag 3 times fast. I dare you.
RWBYABTV.
No, don't.
Blah.
Nailed it.
Filling in for Patrick Dees is the wonderful Emma Fife.
Yes, that's me, Emma Fife. I can be found all over the internet at Emma Fife.
And I'm your host, Megan Salinas. You guys can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. Joining us from Austin, Texas, we have two wonderful, wonderful guests. We have the voice of Torchwick and the producer of the show, Gray Haddock. And we have the voice of Pyrrha and wanted criminal, Jen Brown.
Hey, that's a stretch.
Yeah, no, normally that's Torchwick's gag. What the heck?
Yeah.
It's true.
How are you guys doing tonight?
We're doing great. Well, I guess
Good.
Jen is kind of de-stressing at the moment.
I know. That was,
So, what was that about?
well, okay, it's really not nearly as exciting as it sounds. All it was for some reason the Rooster Teeth offices are barricaded by the police right now on both sides. Like on the street, it's barricaded directly in front of the office, so you can't get in no matter how you try to go around.
So what you're saying is they're finally coming after Miles.
Yeah, my rights are. Yeah.
I was going to say, since they're barricading the Rooster Teeth offices specifically, I'm starting to think, Jen, this is not your problem.
No.
This is a larger,
larger
issue.
The plot thickens.
I just had to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I went to the cop and I was like, hey, so I need to go in there. Like, there's a thing I need to be at. And he's like, well, no one's if anyone comes out, they're not coming back in.
Aw.
All right.
I was like, well, can I walk? He's like, yeah, you can walk.
Hey,
That's a long one.
Goodness gracious.
so James, is that who's engineering for us?
We're dealing with there's an issue with the computers right now.
okay.
We'll get the visual going. I was
Great.
about to talk to.
I
Jen.
just had a bunch of people in the live chat being like, we can't see them. I'm like, but
We're
I
working
can
on it.
see them.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
Voice actors, it's fine. It's probably
Yeah.
better this way.
Yeah.
People can imagine whatever they want it to look like. It's
Go
probably
ahead
better.
and pull up some pure and Torchwick thumbnails.
Exactly. That's actually exactly what they look like in real life. So
That is a fact. Well, hopefully by the time we wrap up the show, you will be able to exit the building without any difficulty.
True.
We'll be pulling for you. I'm really sorry to have trapped you at the Rooster Teeth office if not. So our apologies.
don't know how I'm getting home.
Well, they're filming 11 Little Roosters, so
Yeah.
I have no
why the
idea if they're
police are
filming that right now, you guys. I'm joking.
Well, let's go ahead and talk because these 2 episodes. Not much happened, right?
Softballs, really.
Right?
Softballs.
A little fillery. We only had the first character death on the show of a named and loved character, but that happens.
Violent murder. You know.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Hey, murder is intentional.
Yeah, no, I
Yes.
didn't say.
You're right.
Manslaughter.
Manslaughter.
Yeah.
Robo slaughter.
Destruction of property.
Yeah, that's it. Actually.
Manslaughter sounds so much worse
I'm
than
joking.
okay.
No, I agree. Manslaughter does sound worse than murder, but
really
like legally speaking, it's not as offensive an offense.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. Lawyers came up with really weird names.
They
for
really
everything.
did. They really
But,
did.
but
Double Jeopardy is still the best thing they came up with.
that is pretty
Terrible movie, great term.
But I will say that this is very much a turning point for the show.
It
and
is.
Gray, I believe you actually a couple weeks prior to this episode airing kind of issued a warning to parents who are letting younger viewers watch this that things were going to be getting a little darker. You were not exaggerating.
No. So, I mean, again, and we were just reiterating something that we've been saying for a couple of years, ever since in the behind-the-scenes materials, even, Monty made a big deal out of how he's a big fan of Game of Thrones. So if that tells you about where some elements of the story might go, and the panels at the conventions, we've been trying to let people know that just because we can only put out so many episodes a year, and the show's been focused a certain way for the first couple of years, you might assume that this is always going to be the tone of the show. And we needed to make sure that people understood that no, things are about to accelerate. We are going to start to hit some more mature imagery. We had all sorts of debates about how we were going to go about doing that. Rooster Teeth has never really put up a viewer discretion advisory in front of video before, and we're definitely not going to start censoring ourselves either. And so we just kind of wanted to, as we've done with so many other, occasionally complicated subjects with the community and the viewership, we figured, well, let's go ahead and talk this out on the website. So I went ahead and put that journal post up, and every episode in the metadata and in the episode description for it, it always links to that post where it's like, hey, just a heads up, sometime in the near future, this is probably going to be relevant. We don't want to say exactly when. We post it a little bit early so people didn't assume that we were being spoilery just because of the exact timing of the message. Even though, so we ran it just before the first episode of 2016, which was chapter 7, which was the villain's flashback episode, which again had some strange imagery to it, and Amber gets it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
well, with Mercury's father.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mercury is shown to be exactly how hardcore he is.
Yeah.
So we just thought that was a good time. And everyone seems to have reacted well to that warning. We actually got a lot of appreciative notes from parents and big brothers and sisters and whatnot. And then a lot of the fans also took it as kind of, they got a little jazzed off of it. Just they're like, oh wow, here it comes! Everything they've been talking about for years, they must be about to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
So all the way around, we're glad that we did it.
Yeah, no, it was probably very good to give people a heads up. I know.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think especially, I don't think it's as bad nowadays, but in the U.S. for so long there was this attitude towards animation that if it was animated, that meant it was for kids. With the exception of The Simpsons for the longest time. That was the attitude. And so I think that it is always wise to issue a warning, even though I would argue that overall, I've never considered the show to be for kids because I watched it only as an adult, obviously.
It's more teenager
from the very
friendly.
beginning, we've had I don't know how many times we decapitated Grimm in Volume 1.
The very first video.
A human non-cartoony or non-hunter on hunter, violence, where you kind of understand how that's going to work. But I mean, when they deal with the bookseller,
right.
Tuxton.
Tuxton's book trade.
Yeah.
Everything under the sun.
And, so you get to we start volume 2 literally with a bang, but there's so much, so intense. Yeah, I had to go there. Sorry, but
She really liked Tussie.
Okay, no, I'm laughing at the pun. We also had someone in the chat who made a comment about now I know how to turn pennies into quarters.
Oh, I hate
That was Lego Master 121.
Get
Said that
out!
earlier.
Get out! Get out of the chat.
I need a trombone. Wah, wah, wah.
I don't appreciate that.
Oh, I do.
it really is the case. We were talking about that journal post where. And it happened again just a couple of weeks before we returned for the second half of this volume, where I was talking at a screening, and afterwards a parent brought their daughter up, and he had to convince her to not come in full regalia for some reason, but it's like he still let her wear like the ruby boots and something else, and I asked her who her 2 favorite characters were, and it's like, well, it's Ruby and Penny. Like, hey, Dad, can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah, I think too. Certainly with what went down with Penny in chapter 9. Chapter 9. Yep, was it merited a warning, because I do think that is a character that does have a lot of appeal to a younger audience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's. But at the same time, it's also good that you guys don't necessarily feel the need to censor yourselves either.
yeah.
Because, not that Ruby is officially an anime, very anime influenced, but for years and years, anime in the U.S. could only be obtained in censored form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
And
nice.
anyone who's used to Western animation, particularly if the only way that you watch cartoons is on American cable networks, then you're just not used to the voice of the show having quite this wide dynamic range.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people watching the show that they don't know Rooster Teeth any other way. They don't know its sensibilities or its humor or what we're capable of.
Yeah, those are involved that have been watching Rooster Teeth shows from the beginning. They don't have any issue with it. Like they
They know-
understand that it's
yeah.
for adults immediately, but there are so many families that just stumbled upon it and their children and just kind of assumed
Yeah.
it was for kids
Yeah.
because you wouldn't know otherwise. Really,
No.
I mean, well, you would, but if you didn't know anything about Rooster Teeth and it popped up on Netflix, and your 5-year-old was like,
Totally.
"Oh,
Which has happened. That's again
Exactly.
how some people,
Exactly.
that's how they
Yeah,
know
yeah,
us.
yeah.
But no, so we're glad we had the discussion. The word is out there, and I think everyone gets it. We're still, it's not going to be anything more intense than some of the imagery that you're going to see in Star Wars or Harry Potter.
Sure,
But again,
yeah.
if you thought this was strictly a family show that will always stay completely safe even for the 7-year-olds out there, then it was just time to wake up.
Those are some hardcore 7-year-olds.
But it's an important lesson to learn.
It is.
It's to learn stakes like this and how characters can fall victim to the villains in such
Absolutely.
a way, and it provides a much broader color of character that we're going to see with Pyrrha and the whole class moving forward.
Well, and
absolutely."
Heaven forbid violence has consequences in your media.
That's what I'm going for.
Get out!
And
Actions having consequences.
And I was going to say, too, just speaking to the kids that accidentally discover this and watch it, if I had discovered this show on Netflix as a 7-8-year-old, I would have watched it. I would have begged my parents to let me watch it if they wouldn't. Because again, you have this team of all girls in awesome costumes kicking butt.
Yeah.
Of course I want to watch it.
Well, and we're the DBZ generation.
Yeah.
We grew up on this anime that even though censored was
good
stunningly
It's a
violent.
good thing they blew up those abandoned buildings, so no
We
one
really
got hurt.
did send those people to an alternate dimension. Oh no, guys, they are super dead.
But you mentioned
in One
Pyrrha,
Piece.
Mark.
Yes, I did.
And I want to talk about Pyrrha because
I just
Should
love
we?
her.
we've had she's been undergoing a huge weight has been put onto her shoulders over the past couple episodes, and she already kind of had that anyway because she's looked to as this hero, as this celebrity hero, and now that she had the choice of whether or not to give up her existence to become Autumn kind of thrust upon her, that's a huge responsibility. And then having this tragedy happen right afterwards at her hands, that's a lot for a character to process and undergo.
On top of that, she is the only character with existing celebrity. I mean, she had her face on a cereal box. People know who she is. People are going to tune in to watch this fight. And they just watched her gratuitously murder someone on live TV. If Penny hadn't been a robot, that would have been... It's R-rated violence with PG graphics is what it is.
Yeah. And yeah, that's the thing. It's the knowledge that if Penny hadn't been a robot, that would have been a bloodbath.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I think that's part of the reason why she's so shocked. I mean, one, obviously she destroyed someone, and then trying to wrap her head around it's horrible, it's awful. I mean, that would make anyone catatonic. Like, I was so upset when I watched it. I was so angry. I was just like, too. I was like, really? Do we have to do this?
Yeah, right now we're in the middle
This
of...
has to happen.
So, as we talk right now, we've got 1 week from tomorrow is the final day of production on RWBY Volume 3.
Wow.
So animation on it is done. It's about done going through render. Our compositing and visual effects teams are still grinding away, and our editing team and audio, and they're also working on it. And we're finishing building the DVDs and Blu-rays right now. And what this also tends to mean is that we're at the point where we start recording the audio commentaries that will appear on the discs. So every night this week has been crew commentary, director's commentary, cast commentary, and so forth. And without fail, we're all hamming it up, and we've got all these stories that we want to tell, and we kind of fail to keep whatever it is that we're talking about synced up with whatever little moment is going on screen, because we're trying to tell so many stories. And then starting with about this moment, everyone just loses themselves, starts watching the rest of the volume, and we have to kind of we go quiet for minutes at a time, and then have to remember, oh crap, that's right, we're doing a commentary.
Yeah, there were multiple times during, like, when we were recording the commentary last night where I was just like, because I hadn't seen a lot of the episodes.
Yeah, I mean, you know what happened, you hadn't actually seen the visuals.
Right, I mean, I read it, I knew it was happening, but I hadn't seen any of them.
Right, of
so
course.
We would be talking, and then all of a sudden I would just be quiet for minutes, just sitting with my hands on my face, being like, oh, what? Ooh, what?
That's so great. Yeah, actually, Jen, a question for you from at MegDoglax32 on Twitter. She tweeted this at Megan and I much earlier today. She wanted to know how you felt, since we were talking about, reading the scripts and knowing what was going on, but then finally seeing it on screen, how you felt when you got the script where the character of Amber was introduced.
Oh, I was so excited. I knew something big was going to happen with my character,
right,
because they told me that from day one, that like she was gonna, take some power. And so when I got to read all this stuff about Amber, I was like, oh, I didn't know how they were gonna do it.
Right, of course.
Something was gonna happen. And I just thought it was so unique and interesting and strong, and just such cool storytelling, and such like a hard thing for her to have to go through.
Yeah.
And it's really lovely character development, and as an actor, like, you see that and you're like, yes, please.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
No, totally.
That's great.
I agree. I even though it's very, very painful, like, I love what's going on with Pyrrha's storyline this season, because Pyrrha is such a good person.
She is.
And it's just so heartbreaking to see this really genuinely good, caring person go through this struggle of, I can take on this massive responsibility and potentially do a lot of good, but I could completely lose myself.
Yeah.
Well, Jen's type is tortured redheads.
Yeah, Rooster Teeth has definitely figured out how we like to use it.
Although we had someone in the chat saying Carolina didn't suffer that much. I'm like, I'm sorry, what show were you watching?
You get out as well.
Different flavors.
Rewatch the
different
DVDs.
flavors.
We have a question. I'm assuming this is posed to everybody, but we have a
Most
question
likely.
from Liam Helms on the hashtag asking, do you think Jean and Pyrrha will receive similar fates to the people who they were inspired by
saw that.
via
Well,
Cinder.
Let's see. We have victory via massive sacrifice, and we have immolation. So I'm going to go with God, I hope not.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Nah, I
I
gotta.
don't know. I don't know.
I
I have
gotta.
no clue.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with God, I hope not. But, you know,
Yeah.
if it happens, I'm not going to be surprised.
How
Nah,
about you, Mark?
I got my theories. They said that the characters that they're based on don't necessarily depict how their entire fate is going to be played out in the show.
Yeah.
So
We're playing a lot with assuming that there's a certain amount of foreknowledge that the audience has with mythology or fairy tale is used for each character,
Right.
and then source of tension about will this incarnation of this fairy tale in this world meet the same fate or not?
Right.
Is going to be kind of a recurring thing.
Which actually is fun because
Yeah.
it keeps everyone on their toes.
Yeah.
So basically,
Exactly.
we could start a pool right now, and then as the seasons go on, figure out
Figure out exactly.
who's got the best odds. It's like the Ruby
Yeah.
Hunger Games.
Here's
It really is, though.
Here's a question that I want to pose to the panel as well. Do you guys think that this is the end of Penny for sure? That there's absolutely no way she can come
God,
back?
no.
I hope not. Okay, here's the thing. It's like, if you're gonna have a major character death, this is gonna sound horrible to say, but like,
Keep it permanent.
this is the person to do it to because of the possibility of impermanence. You know what I mean? Like, she's a robot. Technically, she could come back.
well,
She
here's
might be backed up somewhere.
well,
exactly.
but we've got Torchwick in the air. And he's in the same general vicinity of the Colosseum. We're gonna get a little bit of a swoop up, and he's gonna live up to that Lampwick destiny, and we're gonna see Evil Penny.
That will be fun and interesting because Cinder has the blueprints
That's
Yeah.
true. She does.
and obviously some programming know-how.
Yeah.
And Penny is a huge powerhouse, so it makes a lot of sense to take her out very gratuitously right before this huge battle goes down, and then bring her back on your side, along with all of the other robot army that we just had Skynet up in
Yeah,
here.
no, it's
That
true.
did not end well.
Yeah, it's been so great. We've got so many smart fans out there. Really been enjoying everyone's theorizing about. They're going all the way back to some of Penny's very original Volume 1 dialogue about. Does she have an aura? Is she generating it? Where does it come from? Does that make her? How unique is she or not?
Right.
And how special are the circumstances under which she was made? And yeah, I guess we're all about to find out.
Well, and we've got Crow's comment about Atlas and developing the ability to shove aura in stuff. Like, well, yeah.
I think we're on the. Judging from that comic, we're on the very brim of getting an explanation. And Ironwood in Battle of Beacon sort of showed where it all started with him seemingly experimenting on himself because he's got them Star Fox legs instead of boots. He's got full metal lower legs. Is what it looks like. I just looked at him and went, "That looks like Star Fox."
Definitely metal arm.
Metal
Yeah,
hand.
definitely a
At
metal
least a metal
hand
hand.
and a sweet gun. But
Yeah.
I think he's got the gun.
yeah, he's got the gun.
We haven't seen it be anything
It's a
else
gun that
yet.
shoots smaller guns.
It looks like a Helsing gun, doesn't it?
It does.
Find out what the second trigger does.
Yeah.
That's true.
Shoots
Did see
confetti.
2 triggers on the.
I was going to say, I just wanted to share one comment from the chat in regards to the potential for having sort of like an android army. Hikari Aria says, Ruby Order 66.
Oh God.
There,
no.
I got that on. Someone put that on our reaction video for this episode.
Obviously,
Execute
copyright.
Order 66.
Oh yeah, that's been copyrighted. We can't talk about
Dumb
that
joke.
anymore.
We're current.
Anywho, I do. Again, talking about Torchwick. It was both really great to see him again, and at the same time, not great at all.
He looked really good for being locked in a cell for God knows how
That
long.
is true.
His hair was ready to go.
I know. Like, I actually think his hair might
Well,
look
the-
better.
The guy liner was perfectly applied. He's ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was on that military diet too, so he lost a couple of pounds.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's Carrie and Miles had a lot of thinking to do about the structure of the season, what should happen when, and who to save for what, and when do you want to begin to remind the audiences of what conditions certain characters that you haven't seen in a while might be in. It came all the way down to, should Torchwick appear in the opening credit sequence or not? We decided not to do that. there was whether or not Torchwick should have a scene in the enemy flashbacks in 7, and we decided no, that's not such a good idea either. They really want the surprise to be the exact timing when he gets freed.
Yeah.
Which meant that we had the little teaser of you still get to hear one line of dialogue from him during one of like the radio play segments in the middle of 7. But yeah, but it's be careful what you wish for. He's loose now.
Yeah.
Pressing all sorts of buttons. Doesn't matter.
What a jerk.
Yeah.
It's just like, ooh, what does this button do?
Some bits of trivia for you before we finish talking about the AKs who got Order 65 and a half. So we actually managed to sneak in Iron Hilda from X-Ray and Vav.
What?
Really?
Where?
Well, yeah, we thought that those AKs have been around since Volume 2, and then for at the end of the most recent season of X-Ray and Vav, she gets an Orf. Orf becomes a suit of armor, and we thought, yeah, that's kind of close enough. Let's put her in the background with a lot of the AKs. So you'll be able to see her in there in one of the shots.
Oh my
that's
God.
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
Pretty much.
Gonna have to go and check it out.
Yeah.
Anthony, you're welcome.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool.
Yeah. You don't necessarily make a huge deal out of it.
Yeah, it's
but
not obvious.
It's there.
Well, now the fandom will.
Yeah, no, put the screen caps in the hashtag, guys.
And we've got 2 Flint Coles already, so let's keep bringing these
I'm
universes
trying to
closer
find a way
together.
to get a third one into another series now. But,
Right.
Throw it into Red versus Blue as a one-off
Yeah.
character, just someone in the background.
Here's a fun world building question from Twitter.
Oh,
It
boy.
says, what is Remnant's legal age for things like drinking, marriage, and getting your driver's license? I bring it up because I think it was in episode 9. Oh no, I think it was the beginning of episode 10 when like the Grimm all started showing up and like it was going down, and there was a scene where where there were like a few people like in a cafe watching, and they had teacups, but my brain automatically filled in pints. So I think it's
that was actually a thing. We in reviews, some of the people that were watching the episode had a question about where did they go and what were they drinking.
Yeah.
Where we're trying to make it pretty clear that but in the episode before they call out that they're going to go drink coffee and tea,
Yeah.
and their shopkeep establishment that they wind up at. Maybe the bars that we had been at before, but
I feel
yeah,
like everyone.
I guess in terms of the actual years of legality for what you'd have to ask Miles and Carrie, but but who's to say how this culture works or exactly how human lifespans work? in this
Yeah,
world?
that's true.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
feel
feel
the
like-
wizard had lived for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah.
so
I
who
feel
knows?
like everyone wishes they could drink at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
I
like
mean,
Crow's
even
got the
so,
right
it's,
idea.
it could it's their equivalent of it could be butterbeer, you don't know. So.
Yes.
Nice.
I was kind of figuring.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh.
I
no.
just wonder if you have to be certified
yeah,
to
all the
fly a
adults are
mech.
hitting something.
Oh, for sure.
Iron had his flash. You got Crow. There's the Black Juice.
Oh
There's
yeah.
the great mystery of what's in Ozpin's mug.
So basically, you hold it up, and then you're drunk.
Yeah. I have to go back.
Basically.
So during one of the
You're
reviews,
sober, and then you're drunk.
yeah, I know what's in Ozpin's mug, and apparently there's some sound design where people think that they're hearing early in Volume 2 when he walks up to break up the Crow Winter fight, and he's got the line about, hey, there's a fight around the corner, and they've got popcorn, and he shakes his mug.
Yeah.
There might be a sound there that can be misinterpreted of ice clinking.
Yeah, that's what Shannon thought.
Yeah. And so
thought
he was
he heard
assuming that
ice,
he's got whiskey over rocks or something in the mug, but that is not it.
Sure.
Yeah.
It will forever be a mystery. Okay, I
Can we
want
talk about the dragon?
Slash
I was
Wyvern.
going to talk about the
Slash Wyvern slash Drake slash.
I personally
Can
just
we
kinda
talk
saw it
about
as a
the
really
boss
big
run?
bird.
I was going to
It's
talk
a boss run at this point, you guys. Can we talk about the boss
I was
run?
going to talk about the fairy tale, but yeah, let's go ahead and just why stop in the middle of the action?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk
Stop.
about the rest of
This
this
is
battle.
some Kingdom Hearts level insanity. I'm having flashbacks to like Night of a Thousand Heartless here going, oh, and here they come.
I mean, that
Oh, boy.
was very
Funny
much
you
what
should
it
say
felt
that.
like. Like this was this was like super JRPG for me. Where
Oh my
it's
God,
like,
yes.
Where it's like we got the big bad boss, and you got all your outlying team members, and they're fighting off all the other little mini versions of the big bad, and eventually we're all gonna get together and fight it. It was great.
Every time you think you're done, then another wave gets dropped.
Exactly.
Yeah, I expect I will probably hate this level of our video game if we ever get around to making it.
I was gonna say it felt very
DLC.
similar to the Dynasty Warriors-esque setup
Totally.
of the video
Yes.
game.
Switch from
Yeah,
this team to
we'll-
this
we'll
team to
take
this
that
team.
as a
And, oh
comment.
God.
Also, very reminiscent of like the climax of an anime series where you have all of the side
Oh, yeah.
characters that you've made friends with. But yeah, I want. There's a lot action-oriented stuff going on in both of these episodes,
Yep.
and I'm just wondering from a production standpoint. Obviously, you guys have been planning this a long, long time, but you're dealing with new character designs, you're dealing with the air fleet, you're dealing with flying Grims, you're dealing with new types of Grim that we haven't seen before. Just from a production standpoint, how did you guys even start trying to tackle all of that?
Well, we cried a lot.
Always a good
That's
start.
okay. So did we last week.
Yeah, it's and then we threatened Miles and Carrie and begged them not to do that to us, and we're doing it anyway. But yeah, it's this is easily the most ambitious season of any show that Rooster Teeth has done before, at least in the animated sense. I can't even remember off the top of my head now, but like just the number of characters involved. Yeah, so we went. Volume 1, we were just bootstrapping ourselves at the time and learning how to really do the show, and we only had so many models we could build.
Right.
And we just decided to, it wasn't just an excuse. They wanted to try the aesthetic of what we were calling the shadow folk, meaning that if you weren't a principal character, all the background extras would always be textureless, and that certainly helped us in the production side. But they also just wanted to try it as an aesthetic. And then by volume 2, we're like, nah, let's just go for it and populate the world. And the amount of time spent on just Frankensteining together all the background extras was crazy. And you would have thought we would have learned our lesson, but no, we decided to go ahead and go for the Olympic-sized international event with a stadium full of people.
Oh no.
All the cultures running around the fairgrounds and the campus when stuff starts going down.
It's so good though.
And shout out to the animators who wrangled all of our extras and our camera and layout team that populate all the shots with the crowds and all the extra Grim in the background doing their thing. Our animators, the principal animation team is doing all the close to camera character performances, and then you have all of our additional heroes on the team. By that I'm talking about our other animators and layout folk who then bring the rest of the world in that shot to life, every single shot, by just fighting the tool to jam as many background characters in as they can before it crashes. So it's been quite a journey. Really proud of everybody. But it really looks like a very full world.
Yeah.
From my point of view, but I'm just really happy with the evolution of how the shots have been looking season to season.
Yeah,
I
and
agree.
It's quite a challenge, and the extra locations and whatnot, all the extra biomes for the arena, and but we had some fun though. Is kind of poetic justice. Our modelers who would build the sets. Also, we made sure to try and assign, if you built this thing, you get to be the one to start to damage it later, as the Grimmer is now.
Nice. Yeah, that's fun.
We got our lead modeler, Tim Reed, had the. We only found out about this later once it was in progress, but Taylor Pelto, or Taylor McNee, now that she's married, was the art director on RWBY Volume 1, and she's the voice of Penny. And she moved away, but we've been able to still have her from her remote location. She still builds some models for us. So she's still been working on the show. So she got assigned to build the destroyed version of Penny. So she had to carve up her own.
It's like, here, destroy yourself.
Congratulations on your move. Here's what we need you to build next.
Oh,
That's
so
awesome.
mean. Or wonderful.
Yeah,
I can't
depending on
decide.
point of view.
I can't say. That's either the
Well, on the other hand,
perfect way to do it.
If someone had to do it, I'm also glad that it would be someone who cared enough about it to do right by the.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Put them tears in the right
Man,
place.
Chat has spent the past 5-6 minutes trying to name the dragon.
Kevin.
And I'm
Kevin.
going to make an executive decision here. We're going with Kevin, you
Yeah,
guys.
K-Bits was the
It's
first
Kevin
one
the dragon.
to chime in. and K-Bits said, Kevin,
Yeah.
Carolyn Grant did not skip a beat and immediately said Kevin the Grim, so I feel like that's
It's
official.
Kevin. It's Kevin. The dragon is now Kevin, you guys.
We need to talk about Kevin.
Yeah. Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
he definitely did some damage.
Really sad movie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we can watch next episode going, Kevin, no! Kevin, why? Kevin, behave!
Kill Kevin.
Kevin's
Kill
got
Kevin!
Amazing.
Oh my god, you killed Kevin, you monsters.
You bastards, yeah. Ooh.
That's fine.
Well, there
That's
we go.
fine. Family show.
Hashtag not a kid show.
Is it really? Is it though?
I did that. I'm sorry.
But
I'm
while
sorry.
we're on the subject
Beautiful.
of Kevin, it'll help make this discussion a little bit easier. We got the World of Remnant earlier in the season about the communications towers and how they're all connected.
Oh,
and
no.
if one goes down, has some bad stuff gonna happen. So I figure we got either one of two things. Either Kevin does it directly, see it's making it easier.
Yep.
Or Kevin takes out the stadium, which takes out the
tower.
communications
Yeah,
tower.
I'm leaning towards the stadium.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
personal opinion. Because stadium fights are awesome. So why would we stop that?
No, yeah. What, in a falling stadium?
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah,
we
we're still going to
have...
play on expectations a little bit there. It'll be interesting to see what everyone thinks
Yeah.
about how this plays out.
Yeah.
The hashtag is now Stop Kevin 2K16.
Stop.
Stop Kevin!
I appreciate that.
And what I
That's
love is that
amazing.
we
With your
still
tax
have...
deductible donations, you too can stop
Stop
Kevin.
Kevin.
We still have our evil trio on the roof periscoping all of
Periscoping
this.
all of it.
There's no other word for it. It's just, and make sure
Periscrolling.
you get all of the carnage. Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm focusing on them.
Well, because
And
I mean,
then
they like.
Cinder watching Pyrrha head into presumably where Amber is being kept, and she's going to follow her down. There's no way.
Yeah.
She is either going to finish the job with Amber and take it, or take out Pyrrha.
Now, here's a question. Is that a happy coincidence for Cinder, or is that all a part of the master plan?
Oh, I'm sure she forced the hand. I would not be surprised if I have half the power. I can feel the other half here.
Yeah, that's fair, I think. I also think Cinder is such a. She's clearly a little bit of a mastermind. You know what I mean? Like they
She's
took
a
over.
Xanatos,
Yeah,
yeah.
Dance, puppets, dance.
They took over the broadcast of everything. They're clearly in control of.
We had a Terminator moment. We
yeah,
had a Skynet
exactly. It was
moment.
totally Skynet. So I feel like it's all very premeditated.
Let me finish the beat. Well, speaking of premeditated, we do have the Jean at the end following Pyrrha into Ozpin.
I know.
And there was something earlier on in the season where I think Carrion and I think Miles said that we're going to hate Jean for something this season. And I think we haven't seen it yet.
I agree.
I don't
think
remember hearing that.
he's going to I think he's going to screw up the transfer process because he has no idea what's going on. As a result, Amber's going to die, Cinder's going to get all the power. Or a happier moment, he and Pyrrha are going to split the power in a weird Paopu Fruit Kingdom Hearts sort of a way.
Or
Funny that you
Cinder is
mentioned
going
it.
to take him hostage and use him to force Pyrrha's hand.
Either way, Jean will be the key.
Because the fandom doesn't hate John enough already.
Oh, we got
my
plenty of
God.
room.
I like him. I'm in the minority.
John.
Me too.
Or I will show up to save the day and get in the way, and he'll collect all the power.
Yeah, he'll be the summer maiden.
Yeah.
Well, no, but that's another thing is Amber could regain consciousness at the last minute before she dies and go, this guy's killing me. That's the last person she thinks of, and Jean gets the
But
power.
if it's
The
a guy,
last
it goes to
girl.
someone random.
That's true. No, because I agree with you. Like I feel like there is a possibility that Jean would like make that call, especially if he knows about the turmoil that Pyrrha's in, which he doesn't right now. But if he finds out, there's a good chance that he would kill her just to be like, you can't. Now you don't get to make that
And
decision.
then
I
they
made it
both
for you.
then they both get to wallow in the we accidentally killed somebody.
Yep.
Well,
We just
kind
killed
of,
a guy.
kind of going off of that, Jen. When you saw the script for not this past episode, not PvP, but the episode
Oh, you mean the one
before,
where she throws Jean into a wall?
where yeah, she threw
Destiny.
John into a wall.
Destiny is
Yeah.
what we call it.
Yeah, that was a while ago. What was your take on that? Did you think that there's kind of no coming back for their relationship at that point, or do you think?
No. There's definitely coming back. That was just an accident. Like she may not think that she can. She may feel awful about that, but I know that John. Even if I hadn't read the script, I'd be like John. Like he would never give up on her.
No,
he just would never.
not
he would
after-
never give up on her.
Because she's never given up on him.
Yeah.
She taught him to have faith in himself, and there's no way that he would never stop having
Yeah,
faith
he
in
would
her.
forgive her from that.
Yeah.
Like, he would totally forgive her for that. Like, I can't imagine.
Yeah, well,
a
I mean,
world
he's
where
already
he
got the
wouldn't.
line in the arena where it's like, it was not your fault, it was whoever that
Yeah.
was on the radio afterwards.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
Keep in mind
yeah.
that this is a relationship that started with her spearing him to a tree.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Help!
I know, and it's great.
So one of the greatest comedy beats of the series is that. Thank you. Perfect. Too good.
It was.
Yeah.
It was pretty spectacular. So there's another aspect of this fight that we have, or about this big battle that we haven't touched on yet, and that's the fact that Adam and Blake come face to face
Adam
again
is back
for
from
the
the
first
moon.
time.
I know.
What is it? Years?
For the
It's
first time in forever.
you stop that. That is not the Disney song we need right now.
Unclear.
No, the one we need right now is Tale as Old as Time.
No.
No, not that either.
I mean, Beast in any of the stories was never a milady type of a guy.
Right.
Adam, I swear, the only thing that could have made him creepier in this preview would be if he'd been saying "milady" instead of "my love." Someone photoshopped a fedora on that man.
Yeah.
Or if he had Garrett's, the voice actor's actual dreadlocks that were dyed red. That would have been like, whoa, what happened to you, dude? Totally into it.
You'll come back to me, milady.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Tips his mask.
What's great is that the jury is still out as to exactly who's the beauty and who's the beast. Yeah. Maybe it's a little bit of each of them depending on whose buttons have been mashed when.
It's a dance.
True.
It's a
Yeah.
dance.
It is, and so I guess in terms of the timeline, as far as we know, Blake has not actually seen Adam since the Black trailer, which
Yeah.
we've now kind of set it, within a year or so before the episode starts, based on the flashback information in 7.
Right.
We were not exactly specifying exactly how many months or how long it's been, but it's been before she, the Black trailer happens. She gets away from the White Fang. She decides, that's it, I'm going to try and normalize my life again, try and ground myself, and she enrolls at Beacon. So, but yeah, now her past is absolutely back to haunt her in a huge way.
Yeah, well, every time the White Fang shows up, even in conversation, she just kind of ears go up. What?
Yeah, no, and this one, we've gotten a lot of comments about how just skin-crawlingly unsettling their meeting was.
Oh
'Cause-
my God,
You
yes.
can call it that.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, so when Carrie and I were working on directing the show, something that was frustrating Carrie was just because of the technology of these characters and how we built and rigged them. And Adam was actually like the 4th character ever made, I guess, ever. So I mean, they made for the Black trailer, possibly before Yang was even built. So he was one of our earliest models, and as a result of that, there's only so much you can kind of do with his ability to emote in the facial rig. And on top of that, but more to the point, it's he's got that mask. And what was driving Carrie nuts was the fact that you can't see the eyes, because when he's directing a character performance, so much of it is in what's going on in the eyes. And he feels like he can't get everything he wants out of the character of Adam's performance, because he can't get the eyes to do anything because of the mask. And I'm like, no, you don't get it. Owned that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like the alien design of the Aliens movies. You can't see its eyes. It's like Locus and RVB, where they become that much more inhuman, which in Adam's case, because he's a faunus, is even more of it's more of a poetic statement.
Yeah.
That you can't see his eyes, you're denied the windows to what humanity he might have, and now it also should kind of demonstrate what he might be capable of. So I like the fact that it's kind of creepy cool to me that you don't get to see his eyes. It's
I
Terrifying.
like there's a post that
Can't see the eyes.
there's a post that Miles tweeted out from Tumblr to lighten the mood a little bit. I feel like Adam is the Kylo Ren of the Ruby fandom. Adam wears a mask, is overdramatic, emo, has a red emo sword, and is finishing what the old leader had started.
Yes.
We have yet to see him destroy things in a fit of rage. We also have to see him.
Yeah, we
have
did.
yet-
In the Black trailer.
Yeah. Well, throwing a tantrum.
That's what
Fair
I mean.
play.
Yeah.
That's the fit of
Fair
rage
play.
part. We also have yet to see him get his rear handed to him, and boy,
Yeah.
am I looking forward to that noise.
Yeah.
We have a question from K-Bits on Twitter. A question for Gray. Did you do any ad-libbing for Torchwick pushing buttons?
No, not so much. No, not in the dialogue sense. Yeah, I had the privilege of also getting to mocap that stuff also, so it was fun to kind of work out his blocking.
Oh, nice.
And do the little kind of happy skip that he does over the control panel and things like that.
That's great.
Yeah, but no, I thought that the dialogue that Miles and Carrie had just fit the moment fine. I mean, we've got some outtakes here and there, but I'm pretty sure that what wound up on screen was script accurate.
Yeah.
So yeah,
There's
nothing
not,
juicy there.
There's not much ad-libbing, I feel like. I feel like maybe some character, but I don't know.
Honestly, per year there might only be a couple of ad lib jokes that get in on,
Yeah.
on Ruby. It's really not the same as it is on RBV.
No.
Oh my God,
Again.
Addison photoshopped a fedora onto Adam.
That didn't take long.
Bless you, Addison.
That's hilarious.
We love you for a reason. We
And
love you for many reasons,
It
dear.
looks good.
It looks really good, like the pose they picked and the angle. I mean, this is really good.
Oh, God.
Look at this! Look at this noise.
Oh, you
What?
got
I
it,
saw
she got it.
Isn't that great?
Hilarious.
I already retweeted it, guys. So
It's if you want to see it, it is in the hashtag. So go take a look because it is a thing.
RWBYABTV.
It is a thing of wonder and beauty.
All right, so we are running short on time. I want to
shoot.
talk. I know it's already getting late. So let's talk about the Four Maidens, and we'll touch back on highlights from this two-parter in a moment. But I want to touch on the Four Maidens real quick because it's really cool. When I watched this episode, when I watched this World of Remnant, I wanted a fairy tale book set in
Me
the world of
too.
Remnant. I want their Tales of Grimm or whatever
Yeah.
the
We want their
equivalent is.
tales of Beetle the Bard.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like we want their book of fairy tales, and we want like the Grimm origin story, and like how different things came to be, and how the first hunters and huntresses got their semblances, and like we want all of these origin fairy tale. We talked about this at length in the reaction video we did, but the long and short of it is, can we have this book? We had a red versus blue book. Can we?
Yeah,
can we have
we will
this?
call our merch department right now. I'm sure they would love to take it.
perfect. Great.
She'll be
Take
so
our
happy.
Yeah, they're just. I've always been a fan of the more storybook quality art design
Yeah.
that we do. World of Remnant. We went for a little more detail with the Four Maidens story just because of what needed to happen in the story, and it was so character driven as opposed to the more history lesson nature of the previous installments. And kudos to this year. Those assets have been done by our production artist Aaron Wynn, and that particular tale was brought to life by our actual 2D animation team. So normally, it's been either our comp team or sometimes Peter Sorensen, who is also a member of the 2D animation team. But for this one, we actually gave it to the entire team that does X-Ray and Bav and some of our other upcoming 2D projects that. They had a little bubble in their schedule. It was like, would you guys like to do a World of Remnant for us? It's going to be an actual storybook fairy tale. They went nuts on it. So yeah, it turned out really well.
Awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
Yeah, and it's the first time I believe that we've seen facial features in a World of Remnant. Everybody's always been in silhouette, and it looked adorable.
No, it
Actually-
did. I loved the art style.
So cute.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they turned out great. And we, it was just because the characters needed to emote for this particular story that we also
Yeah.
wanted to get our other 2D performance team involved.
Well, that makes
Yes.
complete sense.
Yeah.
And I think that the big implication from this fairy tale is, as you mentioned at the top of the show, Katie, that it is most likely Ozpin who was the wizard.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's lived long enough to make more mistakes than the entire world combined.
And it would make sense why in the present time, why Ozpin and company would be keeping tabs on the maidens. And even possibly, Amber might have been on her way back to Beacon to visit him when she got attacked. That is a possibility. She could have been on her way back to keep her promise.
These are all excellent theories.
Do you need popcorn over there?
Yeah.
It's a lot of the fans are also asking a lot of the same questions right now, and I gotta love that everyone's trying to figure out exactly what is or is not a puzzle piece and how might they fit together and whatnot. There are always reasons within reasons. Pretty much all I can say about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even just on its own, it was a lovely fairy tale. And
Oh,
it was just
beautiful.
Yeah.
It was a nice break after the heart-wrenching stuff that we had been watching.
I want the book. You learn a lot about a culture from their mythology, and so I want the mythology of Remnant.
This could be an off-season expansion of just the fairy tales of Remnant while they're working on the main series.
Or, do it the same way that they're doing Red vs. Blue
Maybe.
season 14 and have different people write
Anthologies?
different stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be
down.
great.
Sign me up.
All right, so that we're running short on time. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on for the world of Remnant before we move into predictions about the upcoming episodes?
I can't wait to see the cosplay groups.
Yeah.
Anime Expo. I'm waiting, you guys.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Possibly
Tifa
even
Lockhart.
WonderCon.
I know. I felt like Summer looked like a cute,
Tifa.
like Tifa. It was great.
I thought that Winter looked like she came straight out of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Oh,
Looked
yeah.
very Water Tribe.
Yeah. No, it would be great to hear where the inspiration for all those character designs came from.
Yes.
That would be fantastic. I will say that just looking back at all these episodes as a whole, there are a few highlights for me. And one is just that tracking shot in the
Yeah.
Battle
That
of
was really
Beacon.
cool.
You were talking about all these models and working through everything, and that tracking shot, I think, was just a highlight of how immersive this world you guys have created has become, and it looked phenomenal.
We're talking about the camera flying through the campus to look at the various bits of.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was like
Yeah.
the Avengers one shot.
Oh, forget Star Wars even. Like, no.
Yeah,
That was,
there's some of those where also the software can actually handle what we're doing with the shots, so we would have to break them into like 4 different segments. So it looks like one shot, but really the first 25% of all the frames were one file, and so on and so forth for the rest of the shot, just because we were pushing the software to the limits by how much stuff we could jam into one scene.
love
So
that.
yeah, it was not an easy one.
So good. And
came
I
together
love the
really well.
Griffins.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the Griffins.
Yeah, new Grim designs happening. We've got some new some of the alphas are starting to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that what the new Beowulfs are?
There's some more information visually being delivered right now about exactly what are the Grim made out of, or
Right.
how do you get more Grim? One way of getting more Grim, So there's a whole bunch of little, again, more puzzle pieces to kind of keep getting thrown out there right now.
Yeah, it was very Cloverfield when they were dropping off of the dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
like
was
that.
extremely Cloverfield. I was having flashbacks. The chat says Ozpin versus Kevin 2K15.
K-15.
2K16. Wow. Chat was right. I was 3
We're
months
gonna
in the
go back in
past.
time.
Yeah, you're
We're gonna
fine.
go back in time. He's gonna fix
Go
everything.
back
Yes.
in time.
That might be his semblance. Who knows? Time
Yeah.
travel.
We don't know.
he could,
don't know.
he could go back.
Dude.
To stop time, which is why it doesn't age.
And
slowly.
also all the clockwork in his office.
Yeah,
It's a big
I think we're
indicator.
onto something. All right, since we're talking about that,
Prediction.
And
Mark?
now, your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
And the light show. We are on it
We're
tonight,
ready.
ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go.
Winner.
You're getting really good at that.
I work here, so I hear it like 8 times a day at the very least, so I'm good with
I
it.
had my finger on the button ready to do that.
Thanks, James.
We do our own stunts.
Well, one thing I've really appreciated about this season is that you guys have started putting promos up for the next episode to just give a little tease.
You like those? That's working, because like when we were originally asked to do that by our marketing department, it's usually, it's been okay to cut them, but when we're in the heat of production, it's one more thing that we would prefer to, like, we just want to focus on the show, and we have to cut these also now too. But the reactions have been pretty good. We were afraid of getting a little too spoilery. We also get accused frequently, and not undeservedly, I know, of being teases, and we didn't.
That is the point of a trailer.
That's true.
Yeah, it was whether or not to go for that, and I guess we've sort of embraced it. They seem to be doing okay. So you guys are all right with all the coming up next time? So,
Yeah.
I think it's just enough to whet the appetite and not enough to spoil anyone. It's just enough to make us cry.
The only thing that
So
really,
you're doing good.
yeah, the only thing it really does is mess up the playlist if you're trying to watch all of the episodes in order on YouTube. But aside from that,
we are going to try and fix that. Well, starting with how they're arranged on roosterteeth.com and hopefully over on the channel for YouTube as well, where we're going to try and shunt those off into some other category so they won't affect the main playlist. So
bless your heart.
we'll get to that soon, hopefully.
Yeah, I loved them for Red versus Blue. I love them for Ruby.
Yes. No, and they're good, and they're never too spoilery.
It's
Just enough.
25 seconds.
Just enough.
Guys.
The only
Yeah, but when your episodes are only 12ish minutes long, that's already
fair.
an interesting percentage of the runtime. So there's also, and then the other thing is that half the time we don't even want to come near the imagery of that episode, so we have to pick these other little weirder, calmer moments that you might not necessarily need to focus on. But that's just the cost of like not wanting to reveal this one other scene at all.
Yeah. So you're
So,
basically
but it sounds like it's working, so that's great.
So you're basically crafting the Winter Soldier trailer every week.
trying not to give away the twist.
Yeah, that's our editorial guys. That's Connor and Stan and Cole that take care of those. They've been kind of trading off who's been taking care of them, and they I think they have fun figuring out how to mess with the fans each week a little bit. So
They're doing an amazing
we have
job. They
We've
truly
done some
are.
stuff with the trailers before, like where we'll go ahead and actually, if we have enough time, we will alter some of the imagery that goes in the trailer because we don't want to spoil what the real version of the moment is.
Oh,
Which
well, you did that with Food Fight.
yeah, there were so many people that were mad at me. Where Ruby has Weiss in her arms,
in her arms.
and everything's coming down around her, but
And she's
like,
screaming, "Why?"
We've removed all of the food. Yeah, so we can't do that on a weekly basis. But just have a fun.
That was so
version of
sneaky. I
that.
remember seeing that and being like,
Amazing. So great.
Yeah. No,
So what did we
I
have
would
in
rather.
this trailer?
Well, we have the confrontation between Blake and Adam, and
My lady.
Milady, or as he said, darling.
I do.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello,
Everybody
my
in chat has been doing that.
I know, it's beautiful. I love you all.
I think somebody in the chat too made some reference to feeling like the relationship between Adam and Blake was like a little Kilgrave and Jessica.
Oh God, I hope not. We got a big pop.
I like that.
I think you killed
I
us
do
all.
Speaking of dark, taking a dark turn. Jeez.
We also have Ruby versus Neo, which historically anyone versus Neo is not a fight that goes well for the anyone.
You had a
so
prediction, Mark.
You
I
had
have
a thing
a
about
theory
Neo.
about who Neo's literary inspiration is, and this comes from my lovely fiance, who's a genius. We watched season 2, and she was like, "Who's Neo?" And it's like, "We have no idea." She said, "It's Mary Poppins." Mary Poppins in the books is a terrible, terrifying person who takes care of 4 Banks children, Team Ruby, maybe, probably, who's very vain and obsessed with herself in the mirror and other reflections. So in season 2, when they drop down with that mirror, that it makes more sense. And she can literally fit in. I know you're watching, and I appreciate that. She can literally fit into any type of fantasy genre at once, and seems to know everything that's going on in the realm of her storybooks. Not the one that we know in Disney, but the original P.L. Travers Dutch doll.
I was gonna say, if she takes
Mary
her umbrella
Poppins.
and starts flying through the air, you
Then
might,
we'll know.
you might be on the
She's
side.
really light on her feet and seems really prim and proper.
I'm just watching our guests react.
No, and I
This is a
appreciate
thing
it.
Of
And if-
wonder and beauty.
I still prefer the Little Mermaid theory that we got at our panel at RTX, but I like where you're going with that.
I haven't heard this one. What the Little Mermaid? Really?
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah, when we had our panel at RTX, we had one fan say that because one fan asked what our thoughts were on Neo, and we had somebody from the audience go, a lot of people are lining up behind the Little Mermaid theory because she never speaks. and which is an aspect of the Little Mermaid. And there were more details, but if you look at the character design for her outfit, it kind of does look like little fish, like her coattails resemble like a Little Mermaid fishtail. It was a much better convincing argument than I'm giving right now.
So if you guys want to watch our Ruby panel, it's in the AfterBuzz TV Ruby playlist.
Nice.
And you can,
Forgive
quick
the
plug.
audio issue.
Well, it's one microphone and an entire room that was at capacity for some reason I still don't understand.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I appreciate the misdirect on that, Gray, for asking about the Little Mermaid theory instead of commenting on the very. And also,
I've never heard of this before.
one last little pin to put in it.
Go right
What's
ahead.
better than a spoonful of sugar? A spoonful of ice cream. Neapolitan. Yeah.
I was gonna say,
I don't want to drop the mics. They're
drop.
too
Don't
expensive.
actually drop the
No,
mic.
they're too expensive.
Pen drop. That's
Ice
a
cream
great
cone drop.
thought.
That's great.
How about you, Emma? Any thoughts?
Gosh, I feel like Mark with his Mary Poppins theory just like took it away from everybody. No, actually, at Wham Slam Dax in the in Twitter kind of summarized my predictions, which I talked a little bit earlier about how I thought the Jeanne Cinder thing could potentially go down, and that maybe we'll see a little semblance from Jeanne.
All right. Well, that just about does it for our show tonight. I want to say thank you again to our wonderful, wonderful guests. It really.
Thank you for having us. It was
Yeah,
great.
you guys were awesome.
This is so much fun.
Thanks for coming on. You
It
guys
was
are awesome.
An absolute pleasure. Do you guys have any other upcoming projects that you have going on before Ruby wraps up?
Before Ruby wraps
Or
up.
after
Or
Ruby wraps up?
whenever.
Really at any time in the near
In
future.
your life.
Plug your projects.
Anything
That's
you
what
want to give a
this
25-second tease.
At RT, we've already gone. We're in pre-production on a bunch of different things involving RVB 14. Miles and Carrie are already trying to pull ahead on writing Ruby Volume 4. There's some new projects that are happening on various fronts that we can't get into quite yet. Just it's really an exciting time. 2016 is going to be pretty huge. It's going to be the year of Ruby. And stay tuned. We'll be able to start making some interesting announcements in the couple next months.
Awesome.
Can't wait.
Yeah. I don't know what any of that is, but and I don't, which is really exciting because I don't. I love that. I always get surprised when y'all say things because sometimes y'all don't tell me stuff. And
Yeah, no, it's always hard.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool. That's happening.
I wish I could share or tease with everybody, but
No,
all I can
I know.
do is that if people out there know me and how I get excited about stuff, and all I can say is I'm really excited about some stuff that's happening right now.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
That's great. On the same tip, I actually have some pretty exciting news, but I'm not allowed to say anything for a while. So I suggest that you follow me on Twitter at @the_Jen Brown, because in about 2 months I'm going to reveal something very big,
Nice.
which is
Awesome.
very exciting. And then aside from that, I have a podcast myself, which is a feminist horror podcast. So if anybody out there is really into horror movies and ladies that like to talk about it, you should check it out.
Megan's night.
You
Yeah.
have made Megan's life.
You just made my night. That's so fantastic.
Women in caskets,
Check
right?
it out. We love it so much. I'm so excited. We just did an episode about teeth.
Oh, no. Thank you for joining us. We got to go.
We actually do have to go.
Yeah.
We've been getting the
We
wrap-up
do.
sign for
Our
a
engineer
while.
is very angry at us. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Thank you guys so much for coming on tonight. We can't say thank you enough. You guys are great. We got to wrap it up
Yes,
because
we
we
do.
are getting yelled at. Mark, where can people go if they want to find you?
Find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica, Rooster Teeth website at SoapboxMark.
I'm Katie Cullen, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Rooster Teeth. Kiaxet, that's Kiaxet. We have Star Wars Rebels tonight at 8 p.m. with a special guest. Also, I will be at Gallifrey 1 over Valentine's Day weekend. Come say hi, get a ribbon.
And I'm Emma Fife. Follow me on Twitter at Emma Fife. You'll know everything that I'm doing because I tweet all the time.
And I'm Megan. You guys can tweet at me at the Mingman. That's TheMengua. And thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to our wonderful guests.
Thank you,
to everybody.
Jen.
Thank you, everyone.
See you on Twitter and in
We'll see you
Texas.
next time. We love you all.
From
Bye.
executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Dust you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.